nice to see you guys. Yes, hope you guys have been having a great week. We're going to continue where we left last week. We are going to we're going to continue with the spring arm. Yes, because we didn't fit something last week. Yes, so we are going to go to our player. I'm going to close this one, and we can go by clicking this button over here that says Open Editor. Okay. Yes, and we're going to find our spring arm. Okay, it should be in this order. First, we have our cam base, then our spring arm as a child, and then the camera 2D. Okay, so we click on the spring arm 3D, and we're going to change this collision mask from 1 to 2. Okay, yes, and what this is going to do, we have to save this in first. We're going to go back to the world and click play. Okay, what this is going to do, guys, is that whenever we rotate the camera like this, or when we there's a collision with another object, with a wall, with the floor, or with anything like that. Yes, yes, the camera is going to contract a bit, or the spring arm, better said. Yes, and it's going to come close, okay, to our character. So we're going to make an obstacle to make a better example of this, and we are also going to change our character's texture, so that, for example, when we get close like this, we don't want our character to obstruct our view. I don't know. We have enemies in front, or we have something that we need to see, and our character blocks our view. We need to make a pixel width, okay, for the character to become transparent when we get too close to it. Yes, okay. So first let's do our obstacle. Okay, we can click over here, world, or our first node. Yes, we can also order our scene in a better way. For example, we can add a new node. Yes, and we can add this one over here, node 3D. We can also use these white ones over here that says node only. The advantage of that is that they don't have position in the world, so yeah, they can be better for performance. But I like to use these ones that say node 3D because yes, it's easier. For example, if you have different objects and you want to move them all together, you can select the main node and you can move everything, and it's much easier. That's okay. So we have already this 3D over here. So we are going to call this one room for now. Okay, so we can drag and drop this object that says floor over here to room. Okay, and we're going to add a new mesh instance. Okay, so we can double click on mesh instance over here. Yes, and we are going to call it pillar, for example. Okay, yes, and over here at mesh, we are going to give it a shape. So let's give it a shape of a box mesh. Okay, yes, and we can drag it a bit more like this, or using this tool over here, we can put it on the Y. Yes, okay, that is too much. 0.5. That's okay. So with these guys, we are going to make like a little wall where the camera is going to collide. So we're going to drag it a little bit behind the character. Okay, and we're going to make it a little bit taller. Yes, over here we click on the cube where it says mesh. Yes, and then on size we click over here where it says yes, X, Y, and Z. So let's say, for example, we want an X of 2. Yes, or 5. Yeah, 5 is better. Yes, then we want, yes, a height of, let's say 2 or 5.2. Let's see over here. Yes, and yes, well, the Z value is okay because we don't want it to be too big. Okay, so I'm going to raise it a little bit more. That's all right. Okay. Yes, and now guys, for example, we are going to give it a collision shape. If you remember guys, collision shapes are important for telling our engine where objects are going to collide. Okay, so we select the pillar and then we select mesh. Okay, over here guys, we have different options, okay, to generate the collision shape. The most common guys that I use for static objects is this one that says over here, create tri-mesh static body. Okay, I use it for walls, for floors, stuff like that isn't going to move. Okay, if you want to choose another option depending on the characteristics of the object that you want to make a collision shape of, you can check over here the tooltips. For example, this one over here, this is for it's a polygon based collision shape. Okay, this is very accurate, but it's also has a higher cost in performance. Okay, also we have this one that says tri-mesh collision sibling. Okay, this is also very accurate, but slower in performance. Yes, and then we have single convex collision sibling. This is the fastest option, but also it's the least accurate. Okay, so depending on the priority of the objects that you have, how many collisions they're going to have, if it's something that is going to be I don't know, there's going to be bullets, and you need you need to have precision. That's when you want something more accurate. But if it's something that doesn't matter too much, you can choose the least accurate options. Okay, so for now we're going to choose only this one over here that says tri-mesh static body. Okay, yes, and guys, we need to tell the engine on which layer we are on, or which layer this object is on. Okay, so we go over here to this part that says static body 3D. Yes, and we pass to the part that says collision. Okay, so we have again these two options that say, for example, layer and mask. Okay, so if we remember guys, layer is the layer where the object is. Okay, and mask is the objects or the layers which the object is going to collide with. So we want to choose, yes, we are not on the player layer, which is number 1. We are on number 2, which is the environment layer, world. Yes, and we want to collide with number 1, which is a player. Okay, so if everything is alright guys, we should see the effect of the camera colliding with the wall. Yes, so let's see over here. Okay, so yeah guys, if you see the camera right now, we can move because this is from the previous tutorials. We can move well and all. Yes, but when we get close to the wall, yes, the camera makes a close up. Okay, so this is what we want when we have a third person camera. So yeah, this is yes, the intended effect. Okay, so yeah, this is so for, you can also make another option, like in games like Mega Man Legends. In those games, this doesn't happen. Like the camera goes through the walls directly. Yes, you can also make that. Yes, for example, you would make this static body not to collide with the player. So let's see over here, and we can deselect this over here. Okay, so in this case guys, we don't have any collision. Maybe you can make the walls transparent from behind. Yes, like if you have a material, you can make it only one-sided. Yes, and that is going to make it visible only from one side, and maybe from outside you cannot see it. That's another option you can use. Yes, not many games use that, but it's also yes, it avoids yes, this effect of a close-up, because sometimes it can be jarring. Yeah, so let me return this effect back. Okay, so we have the collision again. Okay, so now guys, what we want is that if we are too close to the wall, for example like this, yes, and we get close like this in this form, we don't want our player to block the view like it's happening right now. We want the character to become transparent. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to select our player. Okay, we're going to the player and we go to the mesh. Okay, this can be maybe you have a proper mesh that you made for your character, or you have a model that you imported and you want to customize the material or the textures of your model. What you can do guys is that you go to, yes, you click over here on the mesh. It needs to have this icon. Okay, maybe you have a different node that says armature or something else depending on the software that you use. What you need to look for is any object that has this icon that is for a mesh instance. Okay, because this is going to contain your geometry. Okay, so we click over here, yes, and we click over here where it says mesh. We want to go to this part that says material. Okay, we can have, for example, another menu over here, another category that says for example surface 0 or surface 1, if you have more than one material. Okay, and we're going to have this option over here. Yeah, so for now we are working with a capsule, so we click over here where it says empty. Okay, yes, and we want to click on the part that says standard material, new standard material 3D. You can also make shaders by code. Okay, I don't use that very much, but if you're familiar with shader code, you can also do them in that way. Okay, but today we're going to see the inbuilt tools that Godot has. Okay, so if you see guys, this turned white. It was in another grayish color. Now it's white. Okay, so we are going to click over here on the sphere. It appears. Okay, and we're going to have different options over here. So first we have a preview of our material. Then immediately before, we have this option that says render priority. Okay, this is going to help us guys. For example, if we have transparent materials, this tells the engine which to render first. For example, let's say you have a crystal window in front of a glass of water. Okay, you need to tell the engine which is going to be rendered first or on top of which. Okay, so yeah, maybe when we see particles, we're going to go to this part again. Okay, we have transparency. Okay, you can choose, for example, alpha. Okay, if you want to use the default settings from your texture as it comes, or you can also use alpha scissor. Okay, and you can make it less or more transparent. You can make a cutout. Then there's also alpha hash. Okay, this is like a dithering of the texture. You can choose, for example, mix, add, or subtract. Okay, mix is going to be the normal way for a texture to appear. It's going to be like a solid color. If you say add, okay, it's going to look like an illumination. If you put subtract, it's going to look like something dark, like a dark object. Yes, and if you put multiply, it's going to be like just like a stained glass, more or less. This part over here, this is important, the cool mode. Okay, whatever this material is on, it's going to hide the parts that you don't see. Okay, it can be the back. By default, this is the part that is behind from the view, or we can choose the front. Then we have shading. We can choose, for example, maybe you want to go for a low poly style where you don't have shadows. Yes, this is where you choose unshaded. Yes, the texture is going to give you the shadows, the default, which is per pixel. or you can choose per vertex. Even if you have illumination, the shadows are going to be constant. And also we have the diffuse mode. This is how the colors are going to appear in your model or the material. By default we have Burley, okay, but we also have Lambert Wrap, or Toon. If you want to make like a cartoon shader where things look like cell shaded, that's where you choose Toon. Specular mode is just how the light that is reflected, how it's going to appear on your material. We have an environment that gives us a natural light, and we can choose to have this material not perceive it. As vertex color. Normally we're going to use these for particles, for particle effect. Then we have albedo, okay? In albedo, guys, we can change the color. The color over here. If we have a texture, we can choose over here texture. For example, over here we're going to say quick glow. Yes, and yes, I'm going to choose the Godot icon. Okay. We can choose, for example, how metallic this object is going to look, how rough this object is going to look, if it's going to be matte or if it's going to be glossy. Roughness 0 is glossy, yes, and roughness 1 is matte. Okay. So also you can have a roughness map. Emission, guys, emission is interesting. By default this is black, so if we want it to be active, we have to turn it on. Yes, and we have the energy of the light. Yes, and also, guys, you can choose an emission map. These parts over here, guys, we can move our texture. For example, we can change the scale on the x-axis, the y-axis, and z-axis. It's okay. Yes, then, guys, for example, if you have, let's say that you are working with low poly style textures, okay, or high res textures, this is going to be for the filter, okay. If you are working with PSX style, you can choose nearest, okay, and it's going to look pixelated like over here. If you want like a more Nintendo 64 effect, you can choose this one over here, linear, okay. And if you see the texture is blurry, so it's like a filter. Yes, you can also choose nearest map map. That's okay. Yes, and linear map. Okay. So map map is an option for better performance. Okay. Yes, and also you can choose, for example, the option to repeat. The texture over here. So maybe you want it to child only once. So you deactivate this over here. Okay. Yes. Then we have the shadows. From here we can only disable the reception of shadows. Okay. If we want to disable this material from projecting shadows, there's another option. I'm going to show you in a second. You go to this part that says geometry. Okay. And it says over here cast shadow. You have to set it as off. Also, guys, something that is very useful for Godot, if you're working with particles or you're working also with low poly textures or LODs, okay, you can set the texture to be a billboard, okay. That means that the object is always going to look at the camera. And guys, we have the options that we were looking for. What we're looking for is distance fade, okay. So we have 4 options, okay, 3 better said. We have pixel alpha, okay. Yes, so this is going to make the player transparent, okay. Okay, so for example, if we choose pixel alpha, it's going to make everything transparent in an even way. Yes, okay. The option that we want to choose is pixel dither, okay. It makes this dithering effect. Okay, that's when you get close to the player. For this case over here, pixel dither is the best option. Yes, and we choose a minimum distance of 0. Yes, and max distance of 1. There's also going to be other options. For example, surface material override, or this one over here that says geometry. And we have material override. Yes, these are, guys, for example, for when you need to make a change of material, yes, by code. Yes, maybe for example your character gets hurt, yes, and you wanted to get color red. Yes, okay. So I think that's all for materials. Let's save over here. Yes, and let's run the game. Okay. So for example, we have our texture over here. Yes, and if we get close over here, yes, it disappears. Okay, so our character is not in the way anymore. That's going to be all for today. Yes, this week has been a little busy. That's why I haven't been able to stream game dev. But maybe later I want to stream a little bit of my game, or tomorrow. Okay, so for now, guys, thank you for coming, and I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Yeah, next week we're going to do, for example, animations. Yes, we're going to work with animations, how to use them in Godot. If you have a model with yes, with animations done. Okay, yes, we're going to do that next week. So for now, guys, thank you for coming, and let's see who we can raid. Okay.